Okay, so, and obviously you work with a lot of different businesses and business owners. What are the common mistakes that you kind of see over and over when you do your strategy calls or consultations that you're like, oh man, like these guys, these owners are falling into a similar trap, whether it's branding or even just, you know, growth strategies? What are some common traps that, you know, some of my listeners would be like, oh man, yeah, I either don't want to get in there or I'm in there now?
They think they can do it all by themselves, right? They haven't gotten really clear and focused on what it is that they want and who it is that they truly want to serve. They wind up trying to serve a smorgasbord of people, and it's really hard to market that way. You know this, right?
Yeah.
You know, we even said it all. You said it to me offline. Since I've gotten niched down into the specific industry that I want to serve, it's gotten a lot easier.
Yeah.
Right. To communicate the message. Right. So they don't know who they don't know who they want to serve. They don't know what they really want in life. Right. They want to be successful. They want financial freedom. They want all this vague, you know, they want all these vague things. And then when I ask them, why do you want that? Well, now we start to go towards, you know, the core of everything. Right. And 9 times out of 10, it's they want to be recognized. They want to feel significant. They want to feel fulfilled. They want to feel like they're part of something bigger, right? You start to get down to they want to be respected by their children and by their families and by their parents. It goes down to like, you know, this kindergarten 5-year-old, right? It goes down to that, right? So thinking that they could do it all by themselves, not having that clarity and focus, not understanding their audience. You know, when I see people struggling building their social media following and or engaging their audience, right? It tells me that they're not doing their homework on their target audience. Because if you knew them, you would be putting out content that makes them say to myself, is that person underneath my bed? Are they underneath my desk? Right? How the hell did they know that? You know, that person gets me. I'm hiring them. They seem like the obvious choice. Right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
All of my brand accelerator clients, it's my $10,000 program. And that's just strategy and diagnosis, right? I always ask them, why'd you choose me? Why did you invest that kind of money with me? And they said, Henry, I trusted you because you've showed me online that you know what you're talking about. And it felt right. You felt like the right person. When they say it felt right, I know I'm doing my job. That's branding.
That really is. Yeah, I agree. And like, you know, like we said, you know, you can be very different than somebody else. And the people that are attracted to you will, you know, if you get out there, you put yourself out there, they will find you. If you hide in your school and you never get out, then they might not find you. But so I had a question, because you work with so many different people. Is there a different approach that you have when somebody has maybe a more local business versus a national brand, or even services different? Is that different than if you have a product?
So is the question, what's your strategy for local business versus online?
Yes.
Okay.
Right. So my clients, you know, they're all going to be local businesses versus, you know, if I came to you and said, hey, we've been trying to sell these widgets for the last 6 months and we don't know if it's a branding issue or whatever.
Yeah. Okay. So a couple things here. One is the philosophy stays the same, whether you're online or offline, right? I truly believe that the philosophy that you run your business on will determine its success. It's not the economy. It's not, your funnel. It's the philosophy that you run your business on. Okay. So if you are a giver, not a taker, right? That's a philosophy, right? In my opinion, you're going to win. You're going to win over the folks that are just takers. The reason why I can speak freely about this is when I first started my business, I was a taker. I really didn't give a shit about anybody else but me. And I just wanted to take. What was in it for me? Now, that's pretty common. I mean, people would say, Henry, you're not selfish. That's just the way human beings are built. It's what's in it for me. Nobody else you don't give a shit about it. I don't know if I agree with that 100%, but I did not want to give anything, and I just wanted to take. That only got me to a certain level. And then the reputation was, Henry's only going to go so far for you, and then he'll cut you off, right? Where now is, I'll just do it and get it done. And it doesn't effing matter, because anything that I do above and beyond, that's an investment towards my future.
That's great. And that, that really will resonate with jiu-jitsu school owners, because there's some people that's like, maybe for their students, like, well, I just want to get you to win some tournaments because it makes my school look good. And I maybe don't necessarily care about, you being injured or things like that. And then there's other people that are like, do a tournament, don't do a tournament. I want you to enjoy the process, enjoy the fellowship. Because that's a lot of people, with the jiu-jitsu community, is it is the community, just being able to hang out with guys.
Here's brand. Here's a brand. Here's brand for you. Here's a brand strategy for any jiu-jitsu coach or any school or any gym or whoever's listening, right? You take a little Post-it note or a little index card, right? You put it in a little envelope, a little 4x4 envelope, and you write on the card, "Keep up the great work. I'm watching you." And you don't make a big deal about it. You slip it to them like you would slip somebody a 20 in the palm of your hand. Okay? What do you think that gesture is going to make that person feel?
I could tell you right now, it'd be huge. I know within the community, within our school, a lot of times you're practicing and you're drilling, and part of you's looking over your shoulder like, hey, did coach just see that? I don't know if you saw that, right? So yeah, doing something as little as that, or which is great, because it's just like, hey, read this on your own time. Yeah, that's brilliant. So anybody who's watching this, 100%.
You know what's funny, Ray? It's not the big things that move needles. I give you an example. I have a client right now. She's overwhelmed. She's about to launch her brand, big multi-funnel. We built her 4 funnels. We built her entire brand identity from scratch, website, 4 funnels, brand identity on social media. It was a 6-month venture. 6 months. We're about to go live. She's really overwhelmed because she's like, okay, now that we're all built out, how do I get people to me, right? Right. And so this wasn't a scheduled call. I got a text message from her like 8:30 this morning. And she was like, do you have time for a call? And I was driving back from my financial advisor's office. And I said, I'm in the car for 30 minutes. Let's go. So I jump on the call and I give her strategies on how to build those I call them attention channels, right? So what do you need to do on LinkedIn? Because she's she works with C-suite executives and HR professionals. LinkedIn's her social media platform, her priority social media platform. I said, what are you doing on LinkedIn right now? Well, nothing. Okay, well, here's what you need to do. You need to start getting into these groups. You need to start interacting with people, start answering questions, jump into the conversation, and start showing people how awesome you are. Because again, this woman's been in the game like 22 years, right? That's number 1. Number 2, you got to do this. Number 3, you got to do that. So I pull into my driveway and I was like, do you feel confident about what it is that you need to do now? Because we still got about a week before we launch to start digging your well, And she goes, Henry, I can't even explain. Right? That's what I'm talking about when it comes to that extra. Right? When it comes to that extra. And so whether it's somebody who's struggling with form on a particular, move, right? Going in, pulling that person maybe after class, or going right in, and grabbing their foot or their leg, right? And I'm telling you, it's those extra things. And it's not this monstrous thing that you need to do. Like, I think a lot of people think they need to build out this crazy funnel. And it's not. It's these little tiny things that you've learned in kindergarten probably, or that somebody did to you when you were 12 years old that made you feel like $1 million. I could get emotional right now talking to you about the one thing that my dad always said to me that just lit me up. He always said to me, like when I did something good, he said, keep up the great work. And so you'll see in my posts when I am working with clients, I will write back to them, keep up the great work.
That's brilliant. Yeah. And it's like you said, this is simple stuff. And things that I guess the problem is it's so small that it's easy to skip over. Like, oh, you know what? I need to do this big thing. I need to do that big thing. And really it's not. And what are we talking about? Really, it's about building relationships, and yeah. Okay.
Yep. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, and this kind of goes into the next, I guess, question, which is because for me, because a lot of what we do is paid, paid advertising on social media. And a lot of times I'm like, for most people, organic posts are really dead. For you, not so much, right? Yeah. Yours are really great. And even with our clients, we say, look, we're gonna get you paid advertising. We're gonna get eyes on you, but that doesn't mean you don't have to post anymore. You still have to post. People, we want them to get to know you. So, and this question came from my buddy Josh. He was asking, like, what is the most engaging type of content for Instagram? And I know you're huge, like you're on a lot of different platforms, but your Instagram is insane.
Yeah.
So what is the most engaging content that you have or that you found on Instagram?
Two. So there's two types, right? There's ones that evoke emotion. So anything that'll make you laugh. That's why I use your stuff so much, because I'm literally pissing my pants when I see your little memes, because I'm like, oh my God, that is so hysterical. So anything that'll make you laugh, anything that'll make you cry, like those extreme emotions, right? Anything that'll piss you off, right? Those are extremely engaging. See, a lot of people are scared to go there. They don't want to show weakness. They don't want to show vulnerability. Maybe if they use humor, they won't be taken seriously, right? And so that's all false, okay? It's actually the opposite, right? All right, use a sentimental piece, but don't be sappy, right? Like don't use 50 posts like that, right? That's what I'm trying to say. Like, you want to use humor, but you don't want to be a laughing stock, right? You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't want you to go extreme, and just because it's a funny post, I don't want you to use funny posts all the time. Maybe you could get away with it, Ray, because you're so good at it, right? But I think that is what you need to do, right? Every once in a while, right? So have that balance. And then the one that really moves the needle is when you ask questions. When you ask questions, it is very hard to ignore a question that's being asked of you. Try that next time. If you're scrolling through your feed and you see a post with a question mark, just do a self-evaluation real quick and see how quickly you stopped and see how quickly you were ready to answer. Now, you might not have answered it, but how quickly did it right? Last but not least, the other engaging one that just came to mind was ones that are extremely curiosity driven. So for example, on Instagram, I'll have a post that'll say something like, the copy on the post will be, this is why your sales funnel is costing you money instead of making you money. There's a lot of curiosity there. Right? And so using curiosity to your advantage is going to stop people mid-scroll and for them to be, wait, what? All right. This is something that I don't already know, because that's the biggest problem I'm seeing right now. There's just a whole bunch of content that is failing the so what test. And the so what test is when you come to a piece of content and you read it and afterwards you're just like, okay, so what?
Yeah.
Right?
There's a lot of that.
There's a lot of so what content out there. So, what I try to do is I share a lot. I curate a lot of content. I think it's a great way to increase your engagement and reach by taking a piece of content that is already performing really well and sharing it, right? So I'll do that like every 5th or 6th post. And what I will do is I will put my own spin on it. So 6 ways to steal people's followers, right? That's the last one I saw, which it was a brilliant strategy. I don't like the word steal, but so right. So they write that, and there's 6 ways, right? And I'm like, oh my God, this content is brilliant. I mean, really good stuff. In the caption that I wrote, I put my 2 cents on each one of those 6, right? And I put like what I would do, right? And people love that because it puts that perspective in there. And now you're like, okay, he's not just regurgitating; he's actually putting his own spin.
Yeah, and what I've noticed with you is that your captions, like, there's a lot. Well, I don't want to say, there's a lot of thought put into it. It's not just like, here it is, and I'm out. You really add a lot to it. Was that something that you thought of consciously, where you're like, okay, there's not a lot of people that are doing this, so I'm going to, or did that just kind of happen?
So I'll tell you a funny story, right? So I very rarely get trolled anymore. And I used to get trolled. I think it's a rite of passage. I think if you're not getting trolled, like you're not playing hard enough. All right. Or in the beginning, because here's what happens. I'll give you a perfect example. I was sharing a lot of your content, like almost like all of it. Right. Right. And I had a guy reach out and say, instead of trying to be funny all the time, how about posting some stuff that's actually valuable?
Wow. All right. Thanks, buddy.
And so that was like a right hook to the jaw. And I said, fair enough. And that was like the straw that broke the camel's back. And I said, okay, you got to listen to some of that stuff, right? I found that it's very hard for entrepreneurs specifically. And the more successful you get, the more successful the entrepreneur, the more they struggle with this. Not so much for me, because I actually do some jiu-jitsu, no pun intended, stuff on this. But here's what happens. They can't take constructive criticism. So what would happen was, if I was this meathead entrepreneur, I would say, go F yourself, buddy. Like, who the hell are you? Look at you. You only have 10 followers. Who are you to tell me that, right? Instead, my philosophy was, these trolls that are hitting me, there is some truth to what it is that they're saying. Okay. I look a lot at, I'll call him right out, Lewis House.
Mm-hmm.
I love watching this guy's paid advertising. Why? Because in the advertising, the comments that people put in his posts, in his paid ads, are wild. They're like, so for example, he was pushing some Instagram training, right? And somebody wrote in a comment in the ad, now you're doing Instagram training? Like, what do you do again? Question mark, question mark, question mark. So I'm not hating on Lewis. I'm not. I look at that and I say, see that? He's being called out because what is he known for? All I know about the guy is he used to play football. He hurt himself.
Yep. Yeah.
He got into this inspirational, motivational thing. He's got a really good podcast. He knows how to break through the gatekeepers and get really cool guests. And he's got this high ticket mastermind that people pay him 10 G's, or I don't know what it's up now, but it's probably really expensive, right? But other than that, like, what's your claim to fame? Nothing, right? So right. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily hire him for anything because I don't know how he can serve me.
Famous right? for being famous.
But and the point, yeah.
You know.
So, but the point is that there's validity, perhaps, in some of the trolling that you get. So here's what happened. I got that message and I go, that's it. It's over. So every time I post, I may spend 10 minutes on a post, right? It sounds insane, but and if I don't like the way it reads, I'll delete the whole thing and start over. Right? If it's not providing value, if it doesn't pass the so what test, if it doesn't make somebody say, whoa, I didn't think of it that way, it's not going out. And so it's very intentional. The long form captions, I try not to do them all long form. You know, sometimes I just want to get one out, right?
Right.
I shared a piece of content on Saturday and I didn't use any hashtags and it must have hit the explore page because it was one of the highest performing posts that I've ever posted.
Wow.
Yeah. And that just goes to show that I know my audience, and the caption was easy. It was how many people do you know that aren't this? And it was traits of a confident person. And there was 5 bullet points. And I said, how many, right? And people went apeshit over that post. And so very, very intentional with that stuff.
All right. Okay. So real quick, 2 things, because I know you're short on time. So, number 1, what you just said about the types of posts that you're creating, you've actually inspired me. I'm going to start changing. I'm still going to do the funny stuff, the meme stuff, but I feel like I'm not teaching enough. Like I should be teaching more. And it's not allowing some of my clients to relate to me in the way that I want. Now, we are about, not quite 24 hours after the Patriots just won their 6th, right? Is it?
Yeah.
6th now? Yeah. Their 6th Super Bowl. And there's a lot of hate going out to Tom Brady. So I want to know, are you a Brady and Patriots hater or no?
What I can't. All right. So here's the thing. I'm a Giants fan. I love the New York Giants. I know that they're sucking really bad the past couple seasons. So I can't hate. I don't hate the Patriots as bad as Gary Vee does. But I will tell you this. Almost, I think it's like the whole offensive line. I'm really bad with this stuff, but like is from New Jersey. So like I can't even hate on the Pats because like half their team is from New Jersey. So I'm from New Jersey. So I gotta show love, right? Number 2 is funny. My cousin said something about this when he was over here. We were watching the game and he says, I'm going to root for the Pats. And I said, yeah, I'm with you too. And he says, there's something about just pure domination that I love. And, not to be all weird, but he was like, there's something about pure domination that I love, and that's why I'm going for the Pats. To see him with a 6th ring, I think it would be really cool. And I thought about it, and I immediately related it to business. And I was like, when I show up into Instagram, YouTube, I'm there to dominate. Okay? I'm the bulldozer that's going to come through, and I'm going to clear a path. You have an option to step out of my way, or you can stay there. Either way, I'm coming. And so I think that philosophy is how Tom Brady has 6 rings and nobody else doesn't.
Yeah.
So I love him.
I couldn't agree more. All this hate that he gets, to me, I think, number 1, this is going to end. He's not going to play till he's 60. It's going to end. And your great grandkids or whatever, they're going to say like, cause he's done it better than anybody's ever done it ever. And so if I'm going to talk to my grandkids or something, and they're like, oh, you were live during Brady. Like, yeah. Am I going to say yes? And I enjoyed it. I loved watching this guy do something. Or like, I hated it. Couldn't stand it while it was happening. Like, no, may never happen again ever. And so yeah, I love to see greatness. I get it when people like, I'm tired of seeing the same guy all the time, but
it's people's philosophies, right? It's people's philosophies.
Yeah.
Like that's what's going to run you into the ground and be broke, or it's going to make you a fortune. And that is it, my friends. So what philosophy do you want to run and operate your life under or on top of, and your business on top of? The choice is yours. If you want to run the philosophy that everybody's out to get you, people are going to steal your ideas. You better not put anything else out there. You better sign an NDA before I talk to you, right? Like, enough with that nonsense. How about go out there and leave it all out there on the table, right? Because you can't take it with you in your casket. So, and then walk away and see what they say about you at your funeral.
Perfect.
I think we'll leave it at that.
I think so too. That was great.
All right, guys. Right. This was a phenomenal, what great questions. This was a lot of fun. And I'll get you this video. It'll be a lot of fun. But here's the big takeaway, guys. Notice that we really didn't, we talked about the jiu-jitsu schools, but there's the overall concepts that we talked about today can be implemented in any type of business. And so I really want you to expand your thinking and ask yourself, how can I apply what they talked about today and infuse it into my business and into my life to make it run more efficiently, to make it run more successfully, whatever the case may be. So this was we got to have you back on the show, dude.
Hey, 100%. Hey, I'm in.
All right, so that was really good, right? So really good stuff. So if you guys are new to the marketing side, you've been running your school and you're kind of like, I'm just going to do my thing. I hope this is starting to open your eyes to possibilities and how to start growing and scaling your school. So follow Henry Kaminsky. Again, he's at The Brand Doctor on Instagram. Look him up, really amazing stuff. Check out his website, uniquedesignz.net. Really amazing programs on there as well. So hope you like this. I got more stuff coming for you guys. If you like this, subscribe, hit that like button. It really helps other people find this as well. And we want to start growing this because I want to help as many schools as possible grow, spread the sport of jiu-jitsu and martial arts, and get more people involved. All right, so follow me as well on Instagram. It's Rakers. I do a lot of fun stuff on there, and Facebook too. So we'll see you in the next video. Until then, sell like hell.
One thing that drives me crazy, Ray, and it's very, very interesting, is that I see a lot of folks want to come to market with a new business with no game plan at all. You see it a lot. And I'm like,
it's if you build it, they will come straight.
Right. And that's gone. That ship's in. Right.